Welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to create a reduction print and it's going to be inspired by Swiss Chard. So I thought it was called Rainbow Chard, but I think Rainbow Chard just refers to different colours of Swiss Chard, I think. But I went round like 5 different shops the other day trying to find some and finally got there in the end. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a drawing first, and I thought I'd start this video with a haul because we took Winnie to the vet this morning, which was a little bit stressful. As she's getting older, I'm guessing we're going to have, you know, a few issues with her because I don't know how old she is now. She's probably around 11 or 12, but we're not sure because she's a rescue. But yeah, I just thought the best way to cheer myself up was to buy some art materials because there's nothing better for an artist. So yeah, I was pleased to go to Pegasus Art Shop today, which is near Stroud. So yeah, I have a bag here. I spent loads of money, but I just was trying to cheer myself up, and that's my excuse. So I just thought I'd show you what I got. So I'll start with the most boring thing. So a ruler. Because it's just really useful. It's one of those see-through ones, which is useful when I want to put like a grid on a woodblock. And my one was so like worn out, you couldn't see the lines anymore. So I've got that. I got this watercolour paper, but it's not like, when I think of watercolour paper, I think of like really textured paper, but this is really nice and smooth. So yeah, and it's quite thick. It is, how heavy is it? 300 gram. So yeah, I thought that would be nice to do like drawings on, like mixed media drawings. Then I got these 2 packs of Shin Collé paper. I either will have or I'm about to do a video on this. I think I will have done the Shin Collé video before this one. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, so these are really small packs, like there's not much in here, but they're £14 each because I guess if you're buying them in small quantities, they're just going to be more expensive. But they're Japanese papers, different colours and textures. And then, so yesterday, me and my friend B went to Durham Park, which is a National Trust property near here. And we recorded an episode of our podcast there. Our podcast is called Out of Ink. And we were doing Out of Ink out of the studio where we recorded the podcast kind of as normal, but we were drawing at the same time and walking around the grounds of Durham. So B brought with her Caran pastels and Caran pencils, and I kept stealing her materials because they were just really nice to use. So I bought my own today. They're really not cheap. And then I knew because she told me that the colours, like especially the greens, are not that nice, the ones that come in the packs. So I got a couple of like more realistic natural greens, yellow ochre in both because yellow ochre is one of my favourite colours to use, and then just like a slightly richer yellow than the one that comes in the pack. So I have my Swiss Chard here. So I just thought, it's really lovely, so the colour goes all the way up through the leaf. So when I was doing the rhubarb print, there's a video of that previously, the red of the rhubarb kind of stops here, doesn't really go into the veins of the leaf. So I thought this would be really nice to do a print of. So there's like red ones, which I think is called rhubarb coloured Swiss Chard, and then like more yellowy green, and then you can also get like an orangey one as well, but I don't have one like that. So I'm just going to kind of use my artistic license and just use these like for the form, and then I'll add the colour as I like it. So I'm just going to get the block to show you the size I'm going to do the print. So this is the block I'm going to use. This is actually one that's been resurfaced by my block maker Chris Daunt. You can see here this archway, that was a bit of a print called Cat Days, but because it was a reduction print, it was actually a 2-block print, but the reduction part of it I sent off to be resurfaced so I could reuse the wood, because there wasn't really anything usable left on it, anything I'd want to reprint. So yeah, now I can use this side. So this is the block I'm going to use, and I'm going to draw around it, and then get sketching. So normally when I'm sketching for an engraving, I'll just do the outside lines just in pencil, because I like to add all the colour kind of as I go through the printing process. But today I've decided to do a colour sketch so I can kind of work out where I'm going to go with this piece. It's going to be a challenge because it's going to be a mix of warm colours and cool colours, and yeah, it's one thing sketching it here and another thing actually creating it in a reduction print when all the colours are laying up on top of each other. So I really enjoyed using these new materials. The pencils especially, like, I felt like they blended really nicely, like not like normal coloured pencils. Yeah, I really liked using these. I felt I could blend them in a way I just haven't been able to with a pencil before. And I enjoyed doing the background with the wax crayon as well. It says they're water soluble on the box, so I guess they might be good to use with like drawing inks and things. So this is the sketch. It doesn't feel very me at the moment. I'm sure it will once I turn it into an engraving. So I'm gonna kind of make sure I'm happy with the composition, and then I'll trace over it and transfer it to the block. I'm still not sure about the background colour. Like, this looks like a nice colour here, but I think it would likely be one of the last colours I put on the block, and therefore it's not going to look like that. It's not going to be that type of blue. And then I also thought it would be really nice as a gradient, so maybe going from light to dark or dark to light. So yeah, I probably will make it up as I go along through the printing process, but it's nice to have an idea of colour at the moment at this stage. I was just trying to remember what you would have just seen, because I recorded the first bit of the video a couple of weeks ago, and the thought of watching myself back more than I need to doesn't appeal. So I think I was saying I was going to start engraving and it was going to be a reduction print, and it is a reduction print, but I decided it's also going to be a multi-block print. So there's 2 blocks. The reason for that is I knew the last layer was going to have to be the outside, the dark blue that I wanted, because otherwise it's such a dark colour. If I was going to do it in reduction, it would have to be the last layer. It would be hard to print lighter colours on top. And then I thought, would that look like the background was kind of on top of the leaves rather than the leaves being on top of the background? And kind of decided maybe multi-block was the best way. So I printed the background in like a gradient of blue and like a purpley blue, and I actually printed it twice because it was a bit patchy, so each background was actually printed one on top of the other, just to make sure that it was a nice solid colour as much as it could be. And then a few days later I printed the yellow, so it looks like this. So this is very bright, isn't it, and very bold and different from what I normally do. So yeah, I got to that stage. The yellow, when I printed it on top of the blue, it overlaps and it doesn't cover the blue up very well at all, because the yellow I have is quite translucent and it doesn't sit very well on top of other colours. But I just figure, I don't do multi-blocks very often. I knew I didn't want any white showing between, so I kind of left a bit of an overlap. But I'm hoping that will sort itself out as the layers go on. And now I'm just printing up the 3rd layer, which is an orange. So this is what the block looks like now. I just engraved the veins of the yellow piece of chard that I designed, and a few highlights on the orange bits so that yellow will show through on those. But there's just been very minimal engraving so far, other than like taking the background away. So at the moment, this is what the print looks like, matching my apron nicely. So it's starting to take shape a bit because you can see the veins of the yellow leaf coming through, and that's adding a little bit more interest than just like this really bold design here. So yeah, I'm just finishing printing it up, and the next layer will be pink, and then I think I'm gonna try and take it to green. And basically, partly why I stayed away from warm colours for so long in my reduction prints is this issue of covering like warm tones with cooler tones, covering like red with green tends to make brown. So yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but I'm looking forward to kind of hopefully overcoming that challenge. We'll see. So it's been a couple of weeks now, and last week I printed the pink layer, which is quite bright, and yeah, not the colour I'd normally choose, but obviously only a small bit of the pink's going to show because it's just really going to be the veins of the leaves, and then I'll be printing green on top. So yeah, it's a really nice green with a lot of white in it to try and lighten the print again, and then I'll work to dark with the greens hopefully. I'm just not sure how this is going to sit on the pink, but we'll see. I just printed the first proof and it is absolutely crazy how different it looks now. Like, I don't think I've ever had a transformation like that drastic when printing a reduction print before. I'm just really pleased with how well the green is covering the pink. I'm actually quite pleased that there's some warm hues showing through because I'm going to do the leaves with the pink stalks a different colour, like a more purpley colour to the others that will be more green. So I'm actually really pleased that those hues are coming through, but yeah, I just didn't think it would cover that well because with wood engraving you use less ink, otherwise it floods the design. It's not so easy to layer up colours as it is on like a lino print where you can use quite a lot of ink to cover the previous layer. So yeah, I'm looking forward to printing the rest of the edition now. It's really satisfying when you're printing a layer that has like a drastic difference because it makes the process like that bit more interesting. So over the last month I've added the 2 final layers to the print. I think this print went from a print that I wasn't really sure where it was going to a print I was really pleased with as I added more detail to the leaves. So today I'm printing the final layer. So yeah, I've been working on this for about 2 months now, so it's exciting that I'm gonna kind of take it to a point where it's finished, hopefully. It was really nerve-wracking when I was removing the 3 leaves from the block. I was like, I hope I remove the right leaves because I've left the red stemmed or the pink stemmed chard because I'm going to add like a reddish colour on top to kind of differentiate the different leaves. I've got a vision of how it's going to be. I hope it lives up to it. Right, so it's time to print the first proof. It's always really tempting to do this bit off camera so that if it's really disappointing you can't see my reaction, but I'm going to do it on camera today. You get the authentic first proof. So this is just one that for one reason or another I've put in the like reject pile already. So I've got only 3 really, well 4 if you count one where it doesn't have any green layers. But I've only got 3 proofs. It doesn't mean that the other prints don't have defects, it just means these I just completely ruled out for selling. So it's always good to test them on these first, in case I decide to change the colour or something like that, or do a bit more engraving. So I don't really know if this will need any hand burnishing just because there's not much left on the block anyway, but I'll just do a bit in the centre of the largest leaf. So I feel a bit nervous about this. So this is the first proof. I don't think I've mixed the right colour. I feel like it could be a bit less brown maybe. But anyway, it's interesting to see it. Sometimes I feel like you need to print a print and then step away for a bit and come back to it to really know how you feel about it. But yeah, I think I'm going to remix the colour and then try again. So I mixed a more red colour and then I mixed like a greenier colour, and to be honest I can't really see the difference between the 3 proofs that I've done now. So this is the first one, which is growing on me. And then this one has like a redder colour, but honestly it doesn't look much different. And then this is one that's a bit greeny, but still looks quite red. So I'm just going to stare at them for a bit longer and see if I can decide. But yeah, they're growing on me. Like, I think when you add like a different colour to print, it can be a bit of like a shock of how different it looks. I think it's okay. I'm just going to make sure the colour I put down is the right one, because obviously with reduction printing like this, once you've done it, you can't really go back. So in the end I've gone with the second colour I mixed, which was a slightly like warmer colour. So this is the final print, well, one of them, I need to print them all now. So yeah, I'll check back in when they're all done, but it feels good to have finally got to this stage. So I printed all the rainbow chard prints now. Here is one in its mount. I've just cut one mount so far because yeah, it's quite a job cutting them all. I had a really annoying moment when I was editioning them. I was kind of putting them into rejects and then ones that were going to make the edition, and I was hoping for 50, and then I only had 45, and I was like, oh, that's fine, that will do. And then turned around and realised I'd missed like, I think it was 7 that could have been in the edition, so I could have had an edition of 50. And yeah, it was really annoying because I'd already written on all of the prints, and I didn't want to rub out the 45 and change it to a 50 because I thought it would look messy. So that was quite annoying to have that many rejects that didn't actually need to be rejected, but it's just more collaging material, so it's okay, but yeah, it was a little bit annoying at the time. So really early on when I was printing this, I realised that people might not want a print of rainbow chard, or it might not resonate with them in the way that maybe some of my other prints do. And I voiced that on Instagram and people seemed keen for it, but I'm not sure how this is going to go down really because it's so different. But personally, like technically I'm really pleased with it. I've learned a lot from it, and yeah, that's kind of why I did it. It was like to challenge myself. I wasn't really thinking too much about my customers when I was making it, but obviously that might be a slightly flawed thing because yeah, we'll see how they go down. But they're going to be released on Friday the 25th of October at 11 AM UK time, and these are in an 8x10 inch mount, and they're going to be around £80. I haven't quite decided what I need to charge for them yet. Hopefully I'm going to have a couple of other small editions to go with it, but I haven't actually made them yet, and if I do make them, they'll be next week's video. So next Wednesday I'll be releasing a video about how I make these other prints. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you found the process interesting, and as I said, hopefully there'll be a video out next week with the next couple of prints.